The city's minimum wage supports thousands of workers and disproportionately impacts underserved communities.
In 2021, anyone working in the City and County of Denver must be paid $14.77 per hour with a few exceptions. This is required by city ordinance. In Denver Labor, we're working to make wage protection more accessible than ever. Our goal is to educate first and investigate when necessary.
Denver Labor is a division of my office tasked with educating and enforcing the city's wage laws. That includes citywide minimum wage rate, which increased on January 1st. City Council passed the ordinance setting the wage rates and creating the first citywide minimum wage in 2019. As of January 1st, 2020, the ordinance set the hourly minimum wage at $12.85 per hour. As of January 1st, 2021, the ordinance required an increase to $14.77 per hour, with the exception of tip credits and certified youth employment programs. The food and beverage industry may claim up to a $3.02 tip credit to make their hourly wage rate $9.83 for 2020 and $11.75 for 2021. The citywide minimum wage rules apply to anyone who performs work in the City and County of Denver. Denver Labor works to foster community relationships with businesses and labor organizations to educate our diverse community about wage issues.
We investigate every complaint we receive, but we would prefer to work with employers through education and training so that employees are paid correctly the first time.
In 2020, our minimum wage team received hundreds of complaints and inquiries and conducted 24 investigations. Through one of those complaints, our analyst uncovered the single largest number of unpaid employees in one case. We worked with the employer to get restitution to nearly 850 workers, and their employer agreed to start paying the full citywide minimum wage. This is a good example of how we can work with employers to find solutions without the needs for fines or penalties. If you are unsure if you have been paid correctly, we have a minimum wage calculator on our website, along with an underpayment calculator spreadsheet for employers. Anyone who thinks they were underpaid can file a complaint in English or Spanish on our website. You can also file a complaint anonymously or on behalf of someone else. We follow up on every complaint, and the more information we have about the case, the easier it will be to resolve. When completing an investigation, the law protects employees from retaliation. When performing an investigation, our analyst will request payroll information for all employees who were possibly impacted. We do not single out the employee who filed the complaint. The citywide minimum wage will remain $14.77 through the rest of 2021, and 2022, the wage rate is scheduled to increase again. If you have questions or concerns about setting the wage rate, whether you believe it is too high or low, I would encourage you to let your city council person know about your preferences.
This year, our team has worked on behalf of both employees and employers to get people paid according to the law.
Denver Labor also covers several other areas of local wage requirements: prevailing wage, contractor minimum wage, and living wage. Our division recovered a record amount of restitution on behalf of workers in all of these categories. We were able to investigate and recover more than $1 million in restitution. That money means a lot to the individual wage worker of Denver. If you have questions about any of the city's wages, work, or how to apply the correct wages to your payrolls, don't hesitate to reach out to my office. We also do live training sessions called Wages Wednesday on Facebook Live. There we can take your questions live in English or Spanish. That's it for this episode of Ask the Auditor. If you'd have a question you'd like to submit it to auditor@denvergov.org, and maybe your question will be the next question we answer on the next episode of Ask the Auditor.